Welcome back to another episode of the Wealthy Delivery Podcast. And today I've been looking forward to this podcast for real. I look forward to all my podcast episodes, but definitely today, man, because this is a guy I vibe with, from day one. And I know he's going to drop some jewels on us today. So I want to give a big shout out to my main man, Anthony Chambers, brother. What's good?
All is well, young brother. It's a blessing to be here with you.
First of all, man, I appreciate you just taking the time out and come mess with me on my podcast, man. I really appreciate that, man. I know you're a busy dude, but taking the time out to just chat with your boy is always appreciated.
Well, Devon, your energy just precedes you. You know what I'm saying? I mean, you mentioned something from the first time we met. I met you on a humbug, trying to get some information.
Exactly. Yeah, actually, that's how I wanted to talk about that first. That's why you talk about that, because I remember we were trying to get to a virtual event, and we ended up getting sent it was like the wrong Zoom link for the call. And you had added me as a friend. You messaged me, and I ended up, I think they emailed it to or something, but I sent it to you, so you was able to get on there. And I'm glad that happened, man, because that even put us closer together, from jump, even closer than we became since then. So I was kind of glad it worked that way.
Serendipity at its best.
Yes, man. You're supposed to meet people for a certain reason. I was like, I was supposed to meet this dude this way for that exact reason. We have our own from that meeting, we formed our own little mastermind group, and I really appreciate those calls every other Saturday, man. Just talking with you guys and just being able to vibe and take that energy. I know you say I bring the energy, but I mean your guys' energy is felt just the same. You know what I'm saying? And if you don't get that maybe in your environment outside of what we do, so it's very important that meeting up with you guys every other Saturday is just so big for me, man.
Well, something that many people don't understand, Devon, is that we speak many languages. We have our body language, we have our native language or tongue that we speak, but the first language that we have is our energetic language. It precedes us. It speaks before we speak. It shows up the moment we walk in the room. In fact, it's about 25 feet around each of us. So we're walking through each other's energy fields all the time. But sometimes they repel. You know what I mean? There's somebody like, what the heck? They walk by you, so like, what the heck was that, right? You know what I'm saying? But yours, man, is just so inviting, just immediately. And so when our energies mesh, I'm like, I got to get that brother's number later. So I reached out to you later after the event. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
But it's a beautiful thing when men can come together anyway.
Yeah, no doubt. And another reason I'm super excited, even to piggyback off that, is obviously we're in different generations, you know what I'm saying? And but I feel like there's the fact that a guy like you and I can get together. If we don't do that, there's an opportunity missed, you know what I'm saying? Especially in the black community, you know what I'm saying? I can learn so much from you and just things that you've seen, and in vice versa, just things I understand maybe a little bit more, even as far as technology side or whatever it may be, or getting that Zoom link, you know what I'm saying? Even little things like that. But it's if we don't connect, there's just an opportunity of information missed on both sides. And I'm glad we was able to connect, because we can close that gap and really connect and really vibe off each other off that.
There's no question about that. There is a thing, we've missed a lot just from our culture. You know what I mean? We've been told his story for so long that we rarely understand our own history. You know what I'm saying? History versus his story. And so it's about coming back from that to be able to communicate fully. Furthermore, I think I've got kids your age, Devon.
I'll be 32 in a couple weeks. On the 25th, I'll be 32. Man.
32, yeah, okay, yeah. I've got children older than you.
Okay.
Yeah. I'm Route 66.
Hey man, you looking good. I never would have guessed.
Really?
Keep doing what you're doing. Keep doing.
I say I'm 33 times 2.
There you go. That's it. Hey, you got enough energy for two people, so that's it right there.
Yeah, well, I'm grateful for. In fact, I just had my a doctor's visit today, and he couldn't believe how healthy I was I am for my life, and I'm just grateful, man, because we have these spacesuits that we wear. We're not our bodies, we're not our brains, we're the ghost in the machine. And when the machine no longer works, you know what I'm saying, the energy got to go where it's got to go. Right. You know what I mean? So as long as this suit will carry me around here, I'm working it.
You're doing a damn good job, man. I love it.
Yeah.
It's funny, man, talking to you, because I was listening to a book, The Magic of Thinking Big.
Okay.
It's by David Schwartz, and I think another thing that like helps us connect is we're both very mental when it comes to certain things, or a lot of things actually. Mental with the energy, mental with like personal development. We all see how it starts like in the mind, and I think in our group, man, and even just a little bit outside of our group, we're big thinkers. We think big, and that's what allowed us to come together, because we are going for such a big type of goal that the everyday person is probably not going for. Everyday person is not really trying to learn things we are trying to learn or expand in our lives the way we are trying to live. Some people just want to make a decent, and I'm not knocking them, like some people just want to make a decent living or get a decent job or whatever like that, but like I feel like our group is a little bit thinking on like a bigger level and a bigger impact as well on like who we serve.
Well, it all comes from self-awareness, you know what I mean? And one of the things that fascinates me about you is your consciousness, your ability to be conscious of your child being able to teach you as well as you teach your kid. That really drew me to you. Like I said, I have 7 kids. From my youngest is 26, my oldest is 43. But each of those young people exhibit different phases of my personality during the time they were born. You understand what I'm saying? My different stages of development. But when you talk about how people function, see, most folks are functioning like biological robots, is what I call them, you know what I'm saying? Because they're in an induced stupor by society. It's all about survival. It's all about the hustle, not realizing that, we're never going to really get it done. We're here to create, you know what I'm saying? But what do we do if we lose one job? Let's say we get a job that made $5,000 a month. All right, we lose that gig. What do? We go look for another job that makes $5,000 a month. You know what I'm saying? We don't go look for another job that'll make 10. You know what I'm saying? But we do what we've done before.
Yeah.
So it's a matter of consciousness, and expanding your consciousness. I mean, that's my gig, man. I help executive talent maximize their human potential so that they can live their best self. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
See, we don't have to settle for what society's giving us. We're creators, bro.
Yeah, no doubt. And that's why you're perfect for this episode, man, because so it's like in the very first chapter, they're talking about this, it was this company, and there was one person, it was like 12 employees, or maybe it was even it was a big number, maybe it was like 60, I can't remember the exact number, but there was one employee that just outshined the rest. And he wasn't any smarter, he didn't work more hours, he didn't have special treatment, actually worked less. But the thing they found out, the difference was he just thought bigger. His goal was just bigger than everybody else's in the company. And the first step they talk about into thinking big is just that you have to have the ability to think big. And a lot of people are just settling in a sense. I don't even want to use settling, but they're just not thinking to their biggest potential, and they're not really valuing themselves as they should. They're putting a low price tag on themselves just based off of what everybody else is doing, or their peers are per se.
It has to do with development, and who raised you, who exposed you. Let me give it to you this way. All our lives, we've been taught what to think, but we've never been taught how to think. Understanding that thought is power. You understand what I'm saying? And that everything is energy. our thoughts, our emotions. I like to use this phrase I teach my kids in my classes, that when you think, you feel. When you feel, you vibrate. And when you vibrate, you attract. You think a thought and you judge the thought, which causes you to have an emotion. That emotion sends out a vibration out to the universe. It finds other vibrations like it. It harmonizes and bring that back into your experience. So wherever our attention goes, our energy flows. And so many of us, we have never been taught that understanding that thought is creation.
Yeah. So I just released my newest book, Nepotism for Dinner. And in the book, I talk about 5 principles that like every Black family should live by. And one of those is having a way to generate ideas. Because that's where everything forms from, and that starts with the ability to think. And because like I said, I want to do everything, all the stuff I'm learning, everything I have learned, even the mistakes, I want my son to know and be aware of. But my biggest thing, I just want him to be able to think and create on his own, think for himself, form his own opinions. And actually, don't listen to what everybody else just says. Actually, what do you think? How do you feel about this information? So that's my biggest driving force. And because I've always been a self-thinker, but I really didn't understand it as a kid growing up. I just thought, I wasn't different, but just like I just didn't think like other people thought in a sense. But I always was I formed my own opinions. But now as an adult, I know how to actually control and understand and do with those thoughts and opinions.
Well, there is something that we all have, and I came back to understanding this at age 50. I've coined it your innerverse. All right, the universe is around you. The innerverse is inside you. Now, if you were to take your hand like so, and take your pinky and stick it in your belly button. I know it sounds freaky, dude, but I ain't talking no freaky shit. All right, here's the deal. You take your pinky, you put it in your belly button, and you stretch your thumb upward as far as you can in doing that. What you're holding is the core of your being. And when they say work out, they say strengthen your core. When you fed in your mom's womb, you fed from your belly button. And it's your solar plexus, and it gives off a chemical when you're fearful. Now, the interesting thing about this organ, this space in your being, this is your God connection. Have you ever met a chick and it told you got funny feeling in your stomach, you got this gut feeling, you say, this bitch is cray. You know what I'm saying? But you say, but she fine though.
You look good though, hey.
Check baby out. And how did it come out? It was a friggin' disaster. You understand what I'm saying? Because it will never lead you astray. Now, our mission in life, what we have to do is find an alignment between our brain and the solar plexus. When we can allow our brain to be obedient to what this gut is feeding you, you can never go wrong.
Yeah, I agree with that 100%, man, because I think that's the thing. Even like growing up and coming into it my own, like I think about every decision I made when I trusted my gut. And it's usually the right decision. And so like it's now I'm aware of that. I'm a bit more like, if I feel this way, it's going into that completely. There is still some hesitation just because of like habit, but it's like overall it's like overcoming that, like, if you feel it, go with it. You know what I'm saying? Even like with the whole starting entrepreneurship, starting a podcast, it's like, I feel this feels right. I need to keep going into this. And exactly. I think it's a habit, it's a practice, it's a skill. Keep going into that feeling right. And of trusting yourself.
You're right. It is a practice. And the point is, most of society has gotten out of the practice. It's just like when I was a kid, man, I was a kid in Alaska, and I first time I stole something. I was in the store and I went to steal one of them snowball cupcakes. You know how they had one was pink and the other was chocolate. It was coconut all on it. I hated it, even after I stole it, but it just looked good. And so I went in the store and I went to steal it, and my hand shook, man, made so much noise, rattle, that the storekeeper heard me. But he didn't tell me, he didn't stop me. He let me keep doing it until I ran up a bill about $300, and then he called my daddy. You dig what I'm saying? But what am I saying? After a while, I got good at it. My hand didn't shake no more. I could just slip it on, put it in my pocket, not make a sound. But I'd already been busted. You know what I'm saying? But what am I saying? When you don't obey it and you don't practice it, it gets silent on you and you forget. And then you're operating from this. And this is all it's trying to do is protect you. It don't care about nothing else. It's trying to keep you just making a mistake. It'll keep you from winning. It'll just mess you up if you just follow this.
Right.
And by the time you process it here, it's already past tense.
It's already too late.
You know what I'm saying? Your gut is giving it to you right now, real time, right now.
And that's what people got to take action, man. If you feel it, take that action. I really like action. You'll figure out that thought, because going with that, you have to let your brain be your brain. Like, and that's what even I learned about meditation. Like, if I'll give you a perfect example. Before I got to like entrepreneurship, I was a sleep technician. So I ran like sleep studies, and I'm reading like the brain waves and stuff when people are asleep. I see like REM sleep and things like that. But I remember you have to take this test to become like board certified.
Okay.
And I didn't take the test for like a while. Like I was pushing off because like I really did. Actually, I talk about this in the book because like the pay raise they told me after I got certified was like it was like a $500,000 test or something. And I'm like, is it really worth that extra $1.50 a raise to just do this? And you had to deal with like more difficult patients and things like that. I'm like, I'm really not in a rush to take this thing. But they really they were starting to push it because they want all their technicians to be registered in the company.
Yeah.
So, but they overall, they're like, man, you got, hurry up and take the test because you only have a certain amount of time to take it. And they was like, take it because if you fail it, you have time to take it again. But I'm like, if I'm doing a job every day, I can't go past a test on what I do every day, either something's wrong with me or something's wrong with this test. So like, I literally had like the last day and I took it, I passed it of course, but just like the thought process of like even preparing to fail for it, it's like I do this every day. What am I nervous about? I wasn't nervous. I mean, the company, but they, you notice that in like schools as well. Like, oh, you got to prepare for this. Like they push this nervousness on people. I'm like, but I'm already doing this every day. I know how to do it. Like I should be able to pass a test or exam on this job I've been doing for the last year and a half. So
the thing about that is, man, it's like the Wizard of Oz, Oz didn't give nothing to the Tin Man he didn't already have. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
But the great who says is the one who says you're qualified. You know what I'm saying? It was the same thing with the addiction counseling test, man. First time I went and took it, I flunked it. I mean, just straight flunked it. And you know how I did it? Because I was a nervous wreck. I gave it my life and death. You know what I'm saying? I put all that pressure on myself. I went to go take the doggone thing again, and all the information was familiar because I kept telling myself 2 tears in a bucket, mother. You understand what I'm saying? and when I told myself that, I went in, it was gravy. All the information was familiar. You know what I'm saying? But it's all happening right here between our own 2 ears. Yeah.
And like you said, the consciousness, man. So I became very aware of like what information I let in my brain, who I talk to, the things being said, because I realized the effect that has on me as well, and the effect it has on my kids. Like just the other day, I teach him words like cash flow quadrant and paying yourself first. Okay. So his mom just the other day, she's like, "What is that thing you're always teaching him?" And I'm like, "Cash flow quadrant." She's like, he just said that to me randomly the other day. I'm just like, yeah, because it's sticking. And I just want to get him used to hearing those words. So when he goes into, places of wealth and prosperity, those words are already familiar, and he's like, I know that stuff. And I just think he picks it up pretty well, So, I'm just like a little. That's like I feel like a mad scientist sometimes when I got him, man. I feel like I'm just like,
well, you are.
I love it, man.
Wow. You're programming one of those magnificent computers on the planet.
Hey, man, because I know one day he's going to come program me. That's it. Like, I know he's going to come drop some knowledge on me that like, yo, all right, Grayson, I needed that. Thank you. So, yeah, man, that's just, I love being a dad, man. So it's you say you got 6 kids?
Man, I got 6. No, I got 7.
7? Oh, yeah, see, that's good, man. I'm one and done, man.
I got 7 kids, man. I got 10 grandkids, 1 great grand.
Oh man, you can still killing them out. You still looking good, like I said.
You know what, man? I am so grateful for that. I truly am grateful for that, and it's all about taking care of ourselves. You know, as men, especially black men, man. You know, we don't take care of ourselves. You know, young brothers. I mean, like you'll soon when you get somewhere between 35 and 40, man, go get your prostate checked. Just do it. Just do it.
Anything. Listen, see, like I said, that information may be missed if we not connected like that. You know what I'm saying? So like, and people, go ahead.
Go ahead.
I just like people like connecting with you. It's like you're a person I respect and whose opinion I value. So if you tell me to go, hey, 35, go get yourself checked. Hey, I'm gonna listen.
Yeah, man. Get it checked because I got brothers, man, that I went to school with that have left this planet as a result of not doing that. And something as simple as a blood test, or I know you feel a little violated, they sticking a finger up your butt, but you got to know what's going on with that thing, especially with black men. I mean, you check those numbers. I was diagnosed with prostate cancer about almost 2 years ago, and it taught me a major lesson, an incredible lesson, about my mortality, about understanding that, the difference between us and a man on death row is that he knows his date he's leaving. And because he knows his date he's leaving, he knows that he's going for the gusto every single day. Now, what do we have to do to wake up and celebrate every morning like it's our birthday? You understand what I'm saying? Yeah. Rather than getting on the mundane grind every single day. You know what I mean? Yeah. Just getting on the grind. You driving to work, driving to work on a day that's your off day. You know what I'm saying? Program. You know what I'm saying? But when I got diagnosed, I looked up at a photo of my family, my brood of children. I said to myself, today is an epic day because I was going to get the biopsy. I said, today is an epic day. And then I caught myself. I said, hell, every day is an epic day. Yeah. I just got to live like it's epic.
Yeah. But nonetheless, you got to do it on purpose.
Yeah.
Do it on purpose. Yeah.
Exactly. Get up every morning with the intention of creating a memory.
Yeah.
Every morning. And so, dude, I went and handled my business. Some people get it removed, which I wasn't really about because, that will castrate a brother. You think I'd already done my part for posterity with 7 kids.
Hey, listen, take me out when I can't do that no more. Listen.
No. So I sought out other non-traditional methods. I sought out other methods to get it handled. And so I went and got it handled, man. And got to tell you, I'm still like a youngster. I'm a 1954 Cadillac Eldorado convertible. All my hydraulics is working. You understand what I'm trying to
let them know.
And I'm riding with my top down on a continuum. You know what I'm saying?
Let them know then, man. That's what it's about. Hey, drop that top, baby.
I went to the doctor today, because those PSA numbers should range between 0 and like 1.3 or maybe a 4. Mine had jumped up to 13, but now I'm down to a 0.06. You know what I'm saying?
Okay. Hey.
So, you know what I mean? So I'm healthy, man. And then you talk about this COVID stuff. It's just like breathing, bro. It's just like breathing. Look, we don't get concerned about breathing. We take it for granted every day until your breath is obstructed. You know what I'm saying? Then you say,
yeah.
We try to breathe deep, So it's about being consciously aware of how blessed you are every single moment, man. And that's what that did for me, So, but I try to let brothers know because a few of my partners waited too long. Yeah. They waited too long to even check it out. They waited till they had symptoms, and by that time it's too late,
Yeah, that's big. That's real talk, man. Yeah. I got a few questions for you, man, just because I want to pick your brain a little bit, man.
Sure.
I assume you read a lot? You reading anything? Are you how was your reading habits like?
Man, I have been a reader my whole life. Let me give it to you this way. I've always wanted to be the best version of me that I can possibly be. You know what I'm saying? Every in each of us, there are different versions of us.
Right.
And we create all these different personalities based on the people that we deal with. You've heard me say, if you hang with lames, you learn to limp. Well, you create a personality to be with lames. You understand what I'm saying?
Right.
We're creating personalities on a continuum. Your mama may have told you, boy, you selfish. Don't be selfish. And so you create a personality not to be selfish with mama, but what's going on in your mind is complete self-denial. There's a problem here. How come I can't be selfish? Self-preservation is the law of the land. That gives me an immediate internal conflict. I'm like, hey, wait a minute. It is about being selfish. At least be self-full, full of self to a point. Some people say, well, if you love yourself, that's vanity. But when you love yourself, that's sanity. Because if you love you, you're showing other folks how to love you. You know what I'm saying?
Right.
So it's the kind of stuff we've been taught.
I love that, man. I love it. I got peeped your video yesterday. You dropped it. I'm like, man, I can't wait to talk to Anthony, because I was like, that's it right there. Like, you gotta, if you can't love yourself, man, how can I go love my son? How can I go love my mom? You know what I'm saying? Like, you gotta fall in love with this person, especially once you learn how to become that person you really desire to become.
There you go.
It's like, yo, I love that dude. That people love me now, but they wait to see the Devon I'm creating. Like, the Devon I'm who I really
gotta give you a fist bump here.
You know what I'm saying? So I love when you said that, man. I was like, that's my dude right there, dropping them gems, man, dropping those bars. Was there a book in particular that made you start like reading again, or was it really that just like drove that reading habit for you?
Well, to be honest with you, I was reading a book called The Key to Yourself back in the early 80s. It was The Key to Yourself, and there was another one called Creative Visualization. And I realized in my 20s that I struggled with visualizing. And it took me all the way back to first grade, when I lived in Alaska and I used to daydream, and the teacher slammed her hand on the desk and she says, Anthony, you dullard. She called me a dullard. And because I was daydreaming. So I started focusing more on school, but I lost my ability to envision. So I started watching cartoons. I started reading comic books to try to create that picture thing in my head again, because most folks, you gotta understand, we don't think in words, we think in pictures. But in my 20s, I had literally lost that ability. So, and I understood the power of visualization, because if you can hold it in your head, you can hold it in your hand. And I knew that back in my early 20s. So I've been practicing this way of living and thinking for a very, very long time. And now I think I've got it down to a science to some degree. I'm still growing because we continuously evolve.
Right.
But yeah, I read this book, one of my favorites that really kind of saved my life. It was called The Way Out.
That sounds familiar.
The Way Out. It's by Divorce Publishing Company. I was trying to look around me and see if I had a copy of it still around, because I used to buy them and give them away. Because, I'm a preacher's kid. And when you're raised in church and all those kinds of belief systems, sometimes things can get kind of convoluted, And this book was brilliant because it broke it down so beautifully. When man talks about sin, he said sin is an error in your thinking, and righteousness was simply right thinking. And that threw all the other garbage out the window. You know what I'm saying? I've sinned when I'm thinking improperly. I've sinned when I'm thinking failure. And then it gave me an affirmation. This is powerful. God loves and cares for me and is giving me all good things. I love him and I think his thoughts, and I do only the things he wants me to. Now, when I process that God loves and cares for me, I can get my head around that. He's giving me all good things. I don't know, maybe, kind of, sort of, maybe. You know what I mean? But I think his thoughts. Now, that stuck me. What is a God thought? What does God think? Well, I knew what he couldn't think. He didn't think failure. He didn't think about being broke. He didn't think about poor and sadness and poverty. So it must be the opposite of that. So when I shifted my thinking to understand, okay, if I think God thoughts, I mean, I'm a winner. I never lose. I either win or I learn. In either case, I'm still winning. It's a shift in my consciousness. You dig what I'm saying? And at that point, life, it took me from abject poverty to making me some paper. That's for sure. You know what I'm saying? Because I didn't have the hang-ups
That
of
conscious
living.
mind, man. I read a book for me was The Power of the Subconscious Mind by Dr. Joseph Murphy, and that book, like, it helped me remove like judgment.
Yeah.
Like, I wasn't a big judgy person anyway, but like once I was able to like really, it changed the way I watch sports. It changed the way I watch movies. Like it just made my mind so open to like, and I'm constantly always looking for the positive. Like I can't talk about basketball. Like, I love basketball. That's my stuff. But I can't talk about it with everybody because I'll have friends like they'll talk about like the negative of a person's game. And I'm like, in my head, I'm like, yo, this dude's in the pros. Like, whatever negative thing he got going on with his game, they got a staff for that. They got a whole coaching staff for that. I'm watching to be entertained and see what they're good at, why they're on the floor. And like, it really just changed how I like viewed anything. So I'm like, I'm such an optimistic person, you know, even in the darkest of times. I'm like, yo, well, this is gonna work.
Okay, so, and your friends call you Pollyanna, right? You know, because you see the world through rose-colored glasses. Right?
A little bit. I think they do kind of tease me a little bit, but I was like, hey, that's just who I am.
But you know what, man? See, they believe in Murphy's Law. If anything could go wrong, it can go wrong. Mm-hmm. You do what I'm saying? I think just the opposite. If anything can go right, it can go right.
Right. So if it went right for somebody else, it can go right for me.
Absolutely. It's your habitual pattern of thought, and that's what their habitual thought process is. How about this? Check this out. If I asked you, Devon, I says, I want you to finish the sentence. I could be happy or
sad, but I mean, yeah, I'm usually not sad. So it's just like, I don't know. Yeah, I could be happy or happy, or I just be me.
I'm going somewhere with this. I could have money or
I could have not.
Okay. Now, as me,
you could be happy or
more happy.
You can have money or
more money.
More money. I'll take it. More money. Yeah.
See, it's just a shift in consciousness. You see what I'm saying? Yeah. People automatically think the opposite or the negative. You know, I can write on the board. I can say, God is now here. And if I put it all together, some people will first look at it and say, well, God is nowhere.
Like, you double it down. You double it down to that positive.
Because that's my choice.
Yeah.
Our perception is our reality. Yeah. You understand what I'm saying? And the person that's looking at the game saying, oh, dude, can't make no shot. That's his reality. Yeah. You do what I'm saying? And you can't switch his reality unless he's willing to change it.
Right. Exactly. And exactly why I don't say nothing. I just be like, all right. Because I know, hey, he may be missing, he may be 1 of 10, but if he hit that 2 of 11 to win the game, that's all that matters.
Good.
You know?
That's right.
So yeah.
There's another book by Abraham and Esther Hicks. It's deep, but it's a really profound book, and they talk about universal laws. And one of the universal laws is the law of allowing. To allow the same freedoms that you want for yourself for everyone else, and without judgment. And it's called the law of allowing. In fact, I wrote a book using 7 of these universal laws called Power Up Your Faith and Take Charge of Your Life. And I wrote the book because I had come from a Christian background, and I wanted people to understand the mechanics or the science behind your faith. You understand? It comes from, it's not just, oh yeah, please, Lord, 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 yes, 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 you know, and that kind of thing. What it is, it's a scientific formula. And that's what I shared with you in the beginning. When I think, I feel. When I feel, I vibrate. And when I vibrate, I attract into my experience. Yeah. Now, I don't care what it is, good, bad, or indifferent. That's the law. You know what I'm saying? Yeah. And the law don't care if you black, green, white. It's like gravity. Your butt jump off the building, your ass is coming down.
Yeah.
It just works.
I think that's key, man, because I think I break things down to formulas a lot. Like, I'm a very mathy person, and like, what I realized was when I really had this shift of like personal development and being better than better than who I was yesterday.
Yes.
I realized the same thing. Like, there's a lot of bad habits that's just on autopilot. But I realized I could put a lot of good habits on autopilot as well. Which goes back to, like you're saying, getting up and having a day on, like, living a day on purpose, being happy on purpose, achieving your goals on purpose. People who just accidentally think things are going to happen. You don't accidentally be happy. You go out and be happy on purpose. And even going to the visualization thing, like I have my this is called my wealthy you can't see, but my financial freedom sign. This is my life manual.
This wealth manual.
So I got a bunch of pictures. I got my goals in here. I got the pictures of like where I want to live, just everything. Because I'm a visual guy, and I just wake up and I'll look through this thing, and then I meditate. And it's like that was the last thing I seen before I closed my eyes, and then I just like picture myself, and I have some stuff going on. I tried different meditation techniques and stuff like that, but yeah, man, you gotta really, and it's crazy because a lot of the goals I set, I'm like, oh, I've achieved quite a few of these.
Yeah.
It may not be of the masses that the quantity of amount of it, but I'm like, oh, it's happening. So even with this podcast, it's happening.
The important thing is to understand and to celebrate the idea that you set that intention. You know what I mean?
Right.
A lot of people don't like hearing that's a lot of work. I don't want to do that. Well, you ain't worth the work. It's a lot of work being the fool. You know what I'm saying?
Exactly. It's hard. You choose your hard. You got to choose your hard.
Exactly. I love that. Say that again.
You got to choose your hard, man. I realized it was going to be hard when I took this leap of faith to go out and try to create generational wealth for me and my family. I realized I knew it was going to be hard. But it was also hard for me to go to a job I didn't care about, doing the same things, having the conversations I didn't want to have. That was going to be like, so what's harder? I think that standard job is a lot harder than trying to do something I love every day that puts me in a position to have conversations with people I enjoy to talk to on a regular basis.
Let the church say amen on that.
Amen. But yeah, you got to choose your hard. Like, it's all hard. But I realize what's hard eventually gets easy.
Exactly. Because listen, how do you get good at anything? You practice. You know what I'm saying? I work with people in recovery a lot, man, and I would see some of the most beautiful women, some of the most articulate and intelligent guys, man, sprung on crack, heroin, you know what I mean? I mean, you name it, and don't know how to win, don't know how to get off. And it's because it took a lot of time to build that habit. It took a lot of time to build those behaviors. And the only way you can do is reverse those behaviors. You understand what I'm saying? To people OD on food, man. You know what I'm saying? You got to look at the food and ask yourself the question: who do I love more? Do I love them chocolate chip cookies, or do I love me? You know what I'm saying? Right. And then pop your collar and say it's me and walk away from them cookies.
Yes, man. People really realize it's not all going to happen overnight.
No.
Like, because when I got into like really, I've always been an in shape person, but I still play in like basketball leagues and stuff like that. Cool. So it's like, if I want to play in these leagues, I still want to dominate. You know what I'm saying? I just don't want to be like the guy playing like, all right, it's my weekly time to play. Let me I want to play. I want to give you buckets still.
Yeah, right.
Like I started jumping rope. I started eating healthier, and it's like, even if I did eat healthy more days than I don't, I'm in the positive.
Absolutely.
And that's where it started, because I was like, all right, 4 days out of the week, I stick to my, salmon and rice, the type of deal.
Okay.
But before you know it, you're like, man, those days that you come around where you can cheat on your, the meal a little bit, you're not really in the mood for it. So now you're like 6 days a week, you're eating healthy just because you started with the 4. Like, it's little things like that just kind of trigger those good habits, man. Let me do 5 push-ups. All right, let me do 5 push-ups when I wake up. Let me do 10 push-ups. Now it's like, ooh, those 5 are kind of easy. Let me do 5 more. Let me do 5 push-ups every time I think about it. Like, that's kind of stuff. I got my weights right here. My dad used to say, out of sight, out of mind. So like, I'll be here in my computer area. I look at my weights. Let me hit a quick set real quick. It's just like, it's those kind of little habits, man, that kind of just set your path for, like you said, not eating a chocolate chip cookie every time. Having that thought like, man, I've really been good. I'm looking good. I feel better. I don't need this cookie right now. And then when you do have that cookie, when you like, hey, I planned on this cookie this day, that is such a more rewarding feeling versus you just picking out on cookies every time you see them.
Well, we create our habits, and then our habits create us. That's how it works.
I like that. I like that, man. I got a good question for you here, man. If you had a dream project, like, you got all the resources you need, you got all the financial backing, you got access to the people you need access to, what would be your dream project?
My dream project would be opening up schools. Well, not actually open schools, but teaching a curriculum in schools, that we are talking about, for young people, especially Black people, Black kids, as early as possible in terms of personal development. I would have personal development courses as part of elementary through high school curriculum.
I like that. There was I love that you're just the on personal development end, man, because that was another thing that really changed my whole outlook on life. It was this Jim Rome seminar from I think it was like 1981, and it's like a 2-hour seminar, and I watched it. I remember I first saw it, and I listened to this thing. I downloaded it. I listened to it like 3 times a day. I would just have it in my headphones playing all the time, because he made getting better at life so simple. But he said,
it resonated with you.
Yeah, he said, work harder on yourself than you do on your job. And that, I was like, man, that just hit me different. I was like, that's it. Because if I work hard on my job, that shows up in my boss's paycheck. But if I work hard on myself,
right,
that shows up in my life.
Yeah.
And that's especially once I started to understand how money works and how to, invest in myself. But yeah, work harder on yourself than you do on your job. And I think, and that goes to saying, like, there's a lot of things people go to work all the time when they don't feel like it. Right. But I'm a strong believer in, like, the things I do like to do, even if I don't feel like doing those, I should still do those too. Because if I'm going to go to a job I don't feel like, I should still be able to do the things I actually enjoy, even when I really don't feel like it.
Yeah, that's a great discipline. That's an awesome discipline. I think one of the key factors is for us to understand, or for people, just people in general, to understand where joy comes from. You see, joy comes from understanding self. Joy comes from releasing victimhood and victim consciousness and not enoughness. When I say not enoughness, I'm not good enough, or I'm not enough for this, or I don't do this well enough to participate in this, and all the enoughnesses or not enoughnesses that go on between our own two ears, So we the most powerful words in the world to any individual are the words that he uses when he talks to himself. You see, because we spend a lot of time online and everywhere else trying to be influencers and influencing others. But if you can't influence yourself to win, if you can't influence yourself to be happy, you know what I mean? If you cannot influence yourself to be joyful, we say, well, when I get that house, I'll be happy. When I get that car, I'll be happy. Well, if you learn to be happy first, if you learn to be at peace with yourself, you'll be vibrating at the frequency where all those goodies are. And they come automatically, because when you feel good, then you are feeling God. You understand? You are feeling your connection. So if everyone just got up in the morning and said, you know what, I'm gonna feel good today about whatever I do. You understand? I'm gonna go to this job today, but he's my client.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
He's my customer. So I'm going to handle my business and take care of my customer today. I ain't going to work for him. You understand what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Because if you don't have a dream in your own mind as to how you are processing this, you have 2 choices every day. You can see something either as an opportunity, or you can see it as an obligation. And I guarantee you, as an obligation, you're gonna put less energy in it.
Oh man, you spitting, you going, man. That's
exactly.
That's real, man. I love it. People. Like you said, how do you look at the world? How do you look at what you do? I think another thing important about that is realizing what things make you feel a certain way. You know what I mean?
They say the quality of the life you live is based on the quality of the questions you ask yourself. If you don't ask yourself nothing, you asking your homeboy, you asking your homegirl, you asking all of them, and they don't know.
Right.
know what I mean? But here is a key thing, something that you said earlier. You talked about your book, that your vision book and the things you do, and you said you do it before you go to bed, and you do it first thing you wake up. See, there's a magic to that. See, at that juncture of time, your brain is what's called a theta state, and it is open for programming. The last 30 minutes before going to sleep and the first 30 minutes of waking, your brain is ready. That's why if you put the right things in it, first thing in the morning and the last thing at night, it's going to germinate. You're sowing seed and it's germinating inside your being, because in the dark, this power of the subconscious mind that you talk about, you understand? Yeah. You can drop some seed in there at the proper time and it will bring it to fruition. You see, we don't understand. I mean, I'm a cartoon freak, right? And one of my favorites is Aladdin and the Genie.
Well, I just watched, me and my son just watched it again the other day.
The genie is your subconscious. You understand? Mm-hmm. That's the rubbing of the lamp. It's ready. It don't know right, wrong. It's just like I tell a dope fiend. I say the same power it took for you to get the dope, it's the same power. It's the same God. It's the same whatever you want to call it, universe. It's the same thing. But you can use that power to slug somebody. You can use the power to hug somebody. It's up to you. It ain't going to get in your way. It's gonna let you do what you do. It's here to serve. That's what's so crazy. You talk to worship, yeah, Lord, yeah. But it ain't gonna do nothing without your permission. It won't even come into your life without your permission. You don't understand that we are people of power. We have something within us and operating all around us. Life ain't happening to us. Life is responding to us. And my point is, dude, I get excited because your innerverse affects your universe.
Yeah.
That's
reality. Man. I didn't know I was going to church today, but clearly I am.
I'm sorry, bro, but I'm passionate about it because I've been doing this my whole life. I used to hear my dad stand in front of the church and preach and run churches, and thousands of people come and wouldn't do nothing without what he said. And I'm like, there's something amiss with this. How do you give? That's just like a man and a woman's relationship where a woman gives over her power. Oh, I need him to complete me. Yeah, right.
Yeah.
For what?
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? You haven't figured out that you are already complete. What you want from him is his connection to his source. And you want the essence of that. That's why you with him. And vice versa. That's what it's really all about. They say your soulmate is the one that comes along to complete you, but your soulmate is someone who inspires you to complete yourself. That's what the fuss is about.
Right.
It's all about you. Your life is about you. But when they teach you, oh man, we've just been so screwed up. But folks have been teaching us the best thing, the best they could with what they had. And you are, Devon, you are Windows 14 for your son. You understand what I'm saying? Because you're teaching him a new understanding. See, beliefs, dude. The man who believes he can and the man who believes he cannot, they're both correct. It's a self-fulfilled prophecy. But what is a belief, Devon? What's a belief? A belief is simply a thought that you thought long enough to accept it as a truth.
That's it. That's facts.
You know what I'm saying? So you can change it. You can practice a new belief. And guess what? The universe will respond to your new belief. Mm-hmm. That's what's so cool.
That's the power we have. Change that belief. You just took over that power right there.
That's my point.
Speaking of powers, this is a good segue, by the way.
Okay.
What superpower do you feel you have? I feel as humans, we all have a superpower. What do you feel yours is?
I believe my superpower is the ability to help others. I have this innate thing. I think we all have it. It's empathy. Being empathetic to the needs of others. Yeah. You know what I got
this. Let me show you something really quick. I got this one. This is how much I believe in like power and words and everything. So I have this water bottle. I feel this. I drink. I try to drink my water, but I took a piece of tape and I wrote words on them. Power, focus, wisdom, health, wealth, empathy. Because that's like you are what you drink. You are what you eat. I just gave this bottle power.
Program that computer, brother. I ain't mad at you. I am not mad at you.
You know what I'm saying?
I'm physical. Yes, sir. Yes, sir. And see, by you being that conscious at your age, you're gonna have so much to share. See, I feel like I've gone through a time warp, or something in your spirit has cried out to the universe and brought me to you, and vice versa. You see, ain't no robbery and fair exchange, bro. You know what I'm saying?
Hey, I love it, man. Listen, you be killing them with the one-liners. I love it.
Yeah.
All right, let's go real superpowers. If you had a superpower, like a really superhero power, which one would you have, and how would you use it?
I think it would be the power to heal. You know, I would want to, because in my own way, I do this every day. See, we don't ask ourselves the right questions. And I think in being asked the right questions, it will direct your consciousness to heal all that ails you. Okay, from depression to physical to every part of your being. See, stress is the killer of us, especially as Black people, but of everyone. And what is stress? Stress is either having something you don't want or wanting something you don't have.
Hey, facts.
You know what I'm saying?
We all got a lot of stuff we don't want. You know, don't forget about that too. Don't think about the stuff you ain't got, but what about stuff you got you don't want?
Exactly. So, but I think the issues that befall all of us physically is what's going on here. And what's going on here, you know, it's kind of like this. You know, I can say, come on, great job, man. I love it. Great job, man. You've been really handling your business. And then all I gotta say, but you know what, Devon, but this one time, dude, you know, it was a problem. That will haunt you all night long.
Yeah.
You understand?
You can act good when all the, I ain't think about that no more.
Out of all of that one will mess with you all night. Why? Because see, the brain is gonna ruminate on the problem. The brain, its natural inclination is to try to protect you so that doesn't happen again. Mm-hmm. And the whole time it's focusing on what you don't want, it's manufacturing more of that into your experience. Because worry is a misuse of imagination. It's a prayer going in the wrong direction. You dig what I'm saying?
Yeah.
So we've got to be able to detach ourselves, for lack of a better phrase right now, 2 tears in a bucket, mother. Mm-hmm. Yeah. You understand what I'm saying? Because that's a detachment. And once you let it go, you let it go. But the brain will go back, and it's like the old Temptation song. Like a snowball rolling down the side of a snow-covered hill. It's growing. Mm-hmm. A thought thinks another thought, that thinks another thought, that thinks another thought, that gains so much momentum before you know it, you're playing a movie trailer in your mind of what could or what could not happen.
Right.
You dig what I'm saying?
Right.
We run ourselves into a state of depression, a state of worry, fear, and anxiety because we don't know how to control this unruly brain. It's like an unruly child that if you don't pull under subjection, it will run through the store and hurt itself. That's what your brain will do. It's like the tail wagging the dog rather than the dog wagging the tail.
Yeah. Real talk, man. And that's what, like I said, that was a big part of just me, myself, that I was like, I realized how powerful this thing was and what I put into it. And like, yeah. I told my friend, I was like, yo, it's like I treat my brain now, it's like I got a bouncer and I got I got the person inside serving the drinks. Like the drink, it's gonna but the bouncer's like, yo, can you get in here? Is your information worth knowing? You got the right shoes on, you in dress code? All right, come on in. You can come get some of this. So that's how I treat my brain, man. Like I can't even I will know when in the conversation with the person based off of just whatever I'm like, oh, you can't even comprehend what I'm about to say next. So I'm not even going to continue the conversation.
Exactly.
So man. But that's what makes it easy for me to conversate with you, because like you, it's an open book. Because I know we gonna vibe and comprehend the same. Because we're putting a lot of similar information in our brains too. But like you go and try to talk with somebody that's like, man, I ain't hearing that, man, all that gibberish. Like I'll be like, I'm good. All right, you do you, bro. I'm in. Stop right there.
Yeah, no, that's real, man. But it can sometimes create a lonely space because you starve for that intellectual banter. You know what I'm saying? You want
That's
to have that conversation because there are a lot of things in you that and that's why I write. I write a lot. I've written probably, I think, 4 books now. I've written a number of programs that just to about what we're talking about. You know what I'm
yeah.
saying? It's important for us to share this with our people because that's how we become slaves.
Hmm.
You know what I'm saying? Slavery ain't just, I'm cracking a whip on you. You can be a slave to your belief systems. And my point is, if your belief ain't serving you, guess what? You serving it.
Hmm.
You
Yes.
know what I'm saying?
And
And
I go at slavery pretty like I tie in slavery into this last book. I really harp on that because I do feel like the way school system brought us up, the way I was like that's still a slavery type deal.
breeds conformity.
Yeah, and I'm like because I always had this skill of writing. Like I'll tell you
Yes.
the story. In which, like recently, I just discovered I was writing. Now I've been helping other people write their books.
Okay.
So, but I always discovered I was a good writer. So, there's 3 situations. The first was in 10th grade. So I'll even go back a little bit further. How I learned to write. Like I
Okay.
learned that we would have like our reading test or our writing test, and they'd be like, "All right, give me they want a paragraph," and they'd be like, "All right, a paragraph is 3 to 5 sentences." And I was like, "All right," I knew the first sentence was the intro, or the main point. My next 3 to 4 sentences was supporting facts, and then I had my last sentence was the conclusion. I followed that formula all the way through grade school, through middle school, high school. Always got good grades. So when I got to the 10th grade, we had to take like the Ohio graduation test, which is like if you don't pass all this, you don't graduate high
Right.
school.
Right.
And my class was the first to take it, and I passed all 5 parts, but I got advanced on the writing. And I use that same formula. That's the very same formula that I used since elementary school. And then, so when my 10th, it was time to sign up for 11th grade classes. And so we're doing that like our 10th grade year. My teacher, my reading teacher, our writing teacher, I just signed up for the next class up. And she's like, no, you need to be doing advanced writing. And I'm like, but in all that time, why didn't any one of those people tell me to write a book? You know what I mean?
Right.
Why wouldn't that's the most I could have created like 15 passive incomes by now. Which is what I do now. Like I write books now, so when my son becomes of age, he doesn't have to be like, all right, man, how do I generate income? He already has his income coming in from my books I've been writing. So that's why I release them every year on his birthday. I write a book. Yeah, so that's my whole mad scientist behind that too. But yeah, it's like why didn't these people just like, hey, you're a great writer, you should be writing some books instead of like pushing me to college to write more. And like
they were grooming you to go get another job.
Exactly.
It's conformity. Society breeds conformity. It doesn't celebrate individuality like we all are individuals. That's what's because they want you to have the herd mentality.
Yes.
See, we are creative at our core. We come here with the ability to create, but that's groomed out of you. You understand? Just like my ability to visualize and to use my imagination was groomed out of me when I was in first grade. I had to go back and recapture it. You understand? But it's so easy to happen because society, my brother used to say it like this. He says, Anthony, there is not a money shortage in the world today. He says there's an idea shortage.
It's the same, and that same Jim Rome seminar, he was talking about his mentor, and he was saying like, oh, I just don't have enough money, and his mentor was like, no, there's plenty of money. You just have a lack of an idea of how to generate more money. You know what I mean? And that's facts, man. I got one more question for you, man. We can wrap this thing up. I've been loving this, man. I can talk to you all day.
Yeah, we've been at it for a while, but time flies.
That's when you're having fun.
Have a good time. Yeah.
You can have dinner with any 4 people, dead or alive, and who would it be? It could be you probably have a different answer each day of the week, but who are you feeling like today?
My mother and father. That's two. Because my father was a brilliant man, had to escape Mississippi for his life, with no more than a fourth grade education, actually third grade education, and never hated white people, and he was a millionaire at least 3 times, and he'd give it all away, you know. Really, he just give it away. It was all about the thrill of the hunt.
Right.
So I would like to talk to my dad. But anyone else, I believe, would probably be Malcolm X.
Malcolm X has been the hot one on this podcast. Like he's like
Has
been
he
on every
really?
like almost every person I asked put Malcolm X on the list.
Yeah, because Malcolm went through an evolution, as we all are. You know, he evolved. You know, he believed solely in his mentor and what his mentor shared. And when he found out that his mentor, he was living a more palatable life than his mentor, because of his idealism that he had gotten from his mentor, his evolution, he still never faltered from his belief system, and that was kind of cool. But more importantly was the passion to save our people. You see, I don't believe that the white man's ice is colder. I believe that we are the creation of cool. You know, we
without a doubt.
You know, I heard Snoop the other day talk about hip hop and how we've created this hip hop culture that embraces everyone, all nations, all races, and people from all around the world are relating to something that we made. I like the idea that we all, black is the presence of all color, white is the absence of all color. So all color came from us. And for us to understand that we are the beginning, and it won't be long if they keep mixing with us, we will be the dominant. You understand what I'm saying? We'll all be people of color. Let me give it to you that way. And as people of color, we don't hate nobody. We ain't trying to take nothing from nobody. We're just trying to get equity. We're just trying to live and love, because that's our pure nature, is to love.
Right. Very loving people, man.
Yeah, we don't have, we're not trying to figure out how to take somebody at the whole time we saying hello. You understand? Yeah. It's just like the Native American, when the white man came and started trying to own land. He said, "Own land? What's wrong with you?" You know what I'm saying? What's wrong? You know, but yeah, I would like to speak to maybe Geronimo. You know what I mean? The native chief. You understand? That said, you know, I'm dying for mine, and I'm living this thing. You know what I mean? Because there was something about the mentality of just understanding our oneness with everything, understanding that we're connected. We're all connected on an energetic level. I can't hurt you without hurting me. You understand? We are all connected. When we leave this planet, bro, we all going back to that pure natural state of energy. And I just want to feel the warmth of that consciousness. You know I sound like I'm in Twilight Zone. You know
no, because this is the things that be going on in my head. So you speaking, you talking, you got the perfect ears for this, because this is me.
Yeah, man. I mean, you know, my college roommate, I would like to put him on the list. My college roommate, he left here from cancer about 4 years ago. But as he was on his deathbed and we were having our last conversation, I told him, I said, bro, I'm standing outside in Florida right now, and I'm looking up at the sky, and I'm knowing that you're about to become a part of all of this.
You always gonna be there, man.
You know what I'm saying? I say, brother, and I'm immersed in the ambiance of all of this right now. You know what I'm saying? And you're about to be a part of it. So there is no distance between us. Energy knows no distance. It knows no time. It knows no space. It just is. Now just think, if when I say that I help people maximize their human potential, what I'm saying is to recognize that you're a spiritual being having a human experience. And if you understand that you're spiritual first, now you can maximize on this human potential, because you don't have potential, you are potential. Becoming aware of itself.
Woo.
See, that's some sexy shit, bro.
Hey, man, where my towel at, man?
You know what I'm saying?
Take my hat off, man. I'm sweating over here, man.
That's what I'm talking about. So yeah, Malcolm X, my college roommate, my mom and my dad.
That's perfect, man. Hey,
Yeah.
this is why I was excited, man, because this is the energy I knew you would bring. And I even going to the superpower thing for myself, I do think I have an ability to kind of bring that out of people. I've noticed on this podcast, and that's why I like to keep it loose, man, and just keep. I like people just bring their personality, man. That's my biggest thing. And you were the prime example of it, and I love it, man. I felt the passion even through this virtual call, man. I felt that energy. You know what I mean? And
Thank you, man.
That's it, man. But man, tell the people where they can find out more about you, man. Just let them know.
You can follow me on Instagram at anthony.speaks. I'm on Facebook. When I first started wanting to share this understanding or this knowledge, I created a moniker for myself, Anthony. The bringer of light.
Hey, you brought
but
some light today.
Had purpose. Light was living in God's highest thought. That was the acronym for life, living in God's highest thought. So I'm on Facebook at Anthony. The bringer of light.
Hey, man. I can't thank you enough, man. I appreciate your energy, man. Like, I'll tell you the same thing I tell Rashid, man. Anytime you want to come up here and talk that talk, it's an open, hey, just let me know. It's all open invite anytime, man. Because
cool, man. I really enjoyed you and Rashid's conversation. That was awesome.
Hey, man. I got Dorsey. I got Dorsey next week. Yeah, so I'm excited for that one too. I think I got him on Monday. But yeah, I got quite a few people lined up, man. I just been sending out the link and like people have been scheduling. So I really only reach out to people that I really, really kind of know I can have that connection with and really have a deep conversation. So it's I got some good stuff coming out, man. But like I said, man, I love you, man. I
love you
I
back,
can't stress
man.
that enough, man. Like you guys, I can't. You guys push me, man. And I feel that energy that I love it. I thrive off that, man.
Much. Thank you so much for having me, man. This conversation has been stimulating for me, and again, you know, that's what my purpose here on this planet is, to share and to help. That's my gig. So I hope our conversation has certainly helped someone today, because that's what I live for.
For sure, man. For sure. All right, people. Well, to the next time, Wealth Delivery Podcast. Make sure you go to wealthydelivery.com, get your book, Nepotism for Dinner. It's out now. I'm actually running a special. I snuck in the third book on people. I didn't really tell people I was writing the third book. So, but it's a little bit shorter. It's more of a skill book. But I am doing buy two, get one free of all three of my books. But yeah, that's it, man. Anthony, I'll holler at you later, man. I appreciate you, bro.
Ciao for now.
Take it easy.
Later.